wants to learn some knowledge? Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. Upon their return to Earth in 1969, the Apollo 11 crew, including Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, were quarantined in a special facility for 3 weeks. As being the first humans on the moon, it wasn't known if they'd bring back any mystery moon germs or not. In 1918, pink was the color for boys because it was a stronger color, while the delicate blue was reserved for girls. It's amazing how things change. The Pentagon spends about $300,000 per year to study the body language of world leaders like Vladimir Putin. There's an animal called the rough-skinned newt whose skin produces a toxin called tetrodotoxin that is so potent that it's approximately 10,000 times stronger than cyanide. Don't go near that. The North Korean government is one of the largest counterfeiters of US $50 and $100 bills. These bills, called super dollars, are so close to the real thing that they've been referred to as just US dollars not made by the US government. The average tree is made up of about 99% dead cells, with only about 1% actually being alive at any given time. Humans are not appropriate prey for great white sharks because their digestion is too slow to cope with the high ratio of bone to muscle and fat. This boat, created in 2010 by French artist Julien Berthier, was created from an abandoned yacht that was designed at a 45-degree angle to look like it's perpetually sinking. Super cool. In 2007, animal handlers at the Oregon Zoo walked an elephant named Chandra around the zoo, where she stopped at the sea lion exhibit and made a friend with a sea lion named Gus. A 2010 study conducted by Oxford University found that for every person that you fall in love with and accommodate into your life, you lose 2 close friends. There's a travel agency in Tokyo called Unagi Travel that, for a fee, will take your stuffed animal on vacation. Without you. During his time in office, the current mayor of Davao City in the Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, has transformed the city from being the murder capital of the country to the most peaceful city in Southeast Asia by killing multiple drug leaders and traffickers. He was dubbed the Punisher by Time magazine. He's a pretty controversial guy. This is the unbroken seal on Tutankhamun's tomb from 1922. It remained untouched for 3,245 years. In 2012, Amy Jung and her son rescued Pudding, a tabby cat, from a shelter. That same day, Amy had a diabetic seizure, and the cat saved her life by bringing her back to consciousness and then running to her son's room, pouncing on him until he woke up to call for medical assistance. How cool is that? So adopt more animals, they might save your life. There is a secret swimming pool in the Mojave Desert that anyone can use if you can find it. There are no roads, trails, or signs leading to it. Good luck. Colonel Sanders disliked what the KFC franchise had done to the food so much that he described it as the worst fried chicken he had ever had, and the gravy as wallpaper paste. In Switzerland, it's illegal to keep a lone guinea pig because the animals are sociable and need each other's company. In 2008, a businessman from Abu Dhabi named Saeed Abdul Ghafoor Ghauri spent $14.3 million at an auction to buy a license plate labeled 1, making it the world's most expensive license plate. I wish I had the money to spend on stupid things like that. In 2013, it was discovered that some bears in Russia have become addicted to sniffing jet fuel out of discarded barrels. As a result, they go as far as to stock helicopters for the drops of fuel that they leave behind. The modern handshake dates all the way back to the 5th century BC, where swordsmen would greet each other with their weapon hand free, showing no sign of a fight. In the 1960s, Alcatraz was the only federal prison at the time to offer hot water showers for its inmates. The logic behind it was that prisoners who were acclimated to hot water would not be able to withstand the freezing waters of the San Francisco Bay during an escape attempt. Switching from $1 bills to $1 coins would save American taxpayers approximately $4.4 billion over the next 30 years. This is because coins are significantly more durable than paper bills and have to be replaced much less often. In 2014, New York City announced plans to turn all of its old phone booths into Wi-Fi hotspots. Finally, 85% of Chinese people share only 100 surnames. In fact, Li and Zhang cover 13% of the entire Chinese population. In the late 1970s, Richard Chase was a serial killer and cannibal who only broke into houses that were unlocked. He believed that if they were locked, it meant he was unwelcome, but if they were unlocked, he saw it as an invitation to enter. That's creepy. Chefchaouen is a small town in northern Morocco that's known for being covered almost entirely in blue paint. That's pretty cool. I want to visit that place. The American street gang, the Crips, were originally formed in 1969 as a neighborhood watch to eliminate criminal gangs by force. How ironic. Hitler planned to rebuild Berlin after World War II into a neo-Roman cosmopolitan city. It was going to include several ambitious architectural projects, including one building called the People's Hall that was 290 meters tall and 250 meters in diameter. The avocado is the world's most nutritious fruit with over 25 essential nutrients. So as it turns out, that extra guac isn't just tasty, it's good for you. There's a man in New York City named Rafi Stepanin who mines sideway cracks for gold. Before you laugh, he makes anywhere from $500 to $800 a week. So yeah, who's really laughing? Since the 1990s, Carmel, Indiana has been replacing all signaled intersections with roundabouts. Since then, injury accidents have dropped by 80%, total accidents have dropped by 40%, and construction costs have dropped by $125,000 per intersection. In medieval Ireland, between the 5th and 15th century, murderers were given to the deceased family as slaves if they failed to pay the hefty fine to buy their freedom. They essentially then belonged to the family, who could legally kill the murderer if they so chose. According to scientists, the average cumulus cloud weighs approximately 500,000 kilograms. That's one big ass cloud. Albert Einstein's brain was kept and dissected both improperly and against his wishes. In addition, his eyeballs remain in a safety deposit box in New York City. What do we need his eyeballs for? Like, what? Dennis Rader, also known as the BTK killer in Kansas, installed alarm systems as part of his job. Ironically, some of his clients purchased these systems to stop the BTK killer from ever entering their homes, completely unaware that the BTK killer himself was installing them. That's just creepy. Dubai is building the world's first indoor city called Mall of the World, with air-conditioned streets, a massive 743,000 square meter mall, and many other luxurious amenities. Walt Disney planned his own city where everyone could be employed and working for Disney in some way. In return for paying rent, they would get a home and would always be insured the latest of technology. Can we still, make this happen? Because that sounds great. Coyotes and badgers hunt together. The badgers dig up the prey and the coyote runs it down, kind of like a hunting partnership of sorts. In 2012, the elderly couple of Mr. and Mrs. Bojan in the Zhejiang province of China refused to sell their home to make way for a road, so the government built it around them. There is a pet king penguin in Japan named Lala that is owned by the Nishimoto family. Every day he walks into town by himself with a backpack, collects fish from the local market, and then walks back. In 2005, the DEA reported seizing $1.4 billion in drug trade related assets and $477 million worth of drugs. Now that sounds impressive, except the total value of drugs sold in the US is as much as $64 billion a year, meaning that the DEA has an efficiency rate of less than 1% at intercepting the flow of drugs into and within the US. As of today, that rate still has not improved. After his success in the Harry Potter films, Rupert Grint, who played Ron Weasley, bought a 1974 ice cream truck to fulfill his childhood dream of becoming an ice cream man. He uses it to drive around giving free ice cream and lollipops to children. Awesome, but also kind of creepy. A man named Bob Kirstein originally purchased Windows 2000, which at the time Microsoft wanted. However, it just so happened that Microsoft owned Bob.com, which Kirstein wanted, and they ultimately came to an agreement to trade one for the other. In northwestern Venezuela, near the Catatumbo River, there's a storm that's been raging for centuries known as the Everlasting Storm that strikes at, get this, 280 times an hour, or 1.2 million times per year. The British Navy uses Britney Spears music to scare off Somali pirates from hijacking supertankers off the coast of East Africa. In fact, it's so effective that they rarely need to shoot their weapons. In the 1960s, Orville Redenbacher paid an advertising company $13,000 to come up with a name for his popcorn company. Their advice was to call it, brace yourself, Orville Redenbacher. yeah, that was a good investment. In 1993, a Missouri man named James Scott purposely damaged a levee on the Missouri River to delay his wife from coming home from work so that he could party. Unfortunately, the river ended up flooding 14,000 acres of land, and he was convicted of causing a catastrophe and was sentenced to life in prison. I don't blame them for doing that. There is a British man named Nick Hess that suffers from autobrewery syndrome, which means that his stomach has an overgrowth of yeast, which turns any carbohydrates he eats into alcohol. In other words, he gets drunk off of bread. The longest ever recorded sniper kill was shot from 2,475 meters away by British soldier Craig Harrison. The bullet took over 6 seconds to reach its target and fell about 122 meters. Now that's a headshot. Taco Bell sold 100 million Doritos Locos Tacos for the first 10 weeks after launch. To put that into perspective as to how amazing that is, it took McDonald's 18 years to sell the same amount of burgers. People love their tacos. And that's all for this time, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Before I let you go, I have one huge announcement that I'm really excited for. For the first time in 5 years of making videos, I finally have merch. For almost 2 straight years, you guys have been asking me if I'm gonna have merch and hoodies and wristbands and stuff like that, and I'm very excited and happy to tell you guys that I finally do. There's all kinds of really cool designs that you guys helped pick out, such as this, the Santoro Army hoodie, as well as the face shirt from my daily vlogs. And if you guys want to check them out, I'll put an annotation on the screen and a link in the description. There's stuff for guys, there's pink designs for girls, there's just all kinds of really cool stuff. If you guys want to check that out, go ahead and do that and pick some up before they sell out. And of course, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give that like button a click. And if you'd like to see future videos from me, be sure to click that red subscribe button because I upload every Tuesday and Saturday. I love you guys, and I will see you next time with a brand new video. Peace.